any BBC any Dennis Abwajia Saturday no or Mochino any BBC any Enra any pa EOCO any some course or any Breno a better abonte say I feel your most of my money bill.
Oh, okay.
It's a clear case of diversional attention.
From what to what?
President Mahama will file for 30. That's my mind can say. Se bibia ansesa. Bibia ansesa. Pedienim. Se bibia ansesa. President Mahama will go for 30. As my mind can mark it on the wall. Ubi obeka cho say President Mahama we need pepase or person or 30 million credit. The third term agenda has been sparked unless it's being cancelled by the NDC for the internally or reading who say it wouldn't help Ghana and their political party. But the third term agenda has been sparked. This is a diversional attention. It's a diversional attention to take our mind, sway our any Ken Crunchy, the managing editor of the Daily Searchlight newspaper. Our Supreme Court to say about compare the interpretation of Article 66(1). Say President sir 4 years no 2 terms no you compare interpretation. They knew perfectly well that would take the center stage of today. The discussion today and then conform back once. So let's get somebody quickly now say the panel what you do attention baba they make what I say so that we will discard that person, not what people have started. Me that is why I see it is. I'm telling you about fact. But can we say look, it doesn't, it's not a bigger than the your friend say the loss of this country. It is a why you be SM rather need. They said yeah, and then conform abobo medino. But it should be a way. Dr. Matopoku Prempe Napo. One me can't say and say EOCO invited you 2 times. 3 times, yes, 3 times. What to be that? He said that NIB sorry and the assassin baby BNI. You invited him 3 times but I don't know about so he had to come. Etiyebusi I will say obianti yeni na obianti until send na ponu abebe catch and say you invited him. Okay. I didn't yet the same approach. I didn't acquire fast way. You inviting the pono. Yet to be fast so anybody Ghana need be a fee say what from Ghana mra. We invite you and your lawyers. Please come and answer 1 or 2 number 3 questions for us. See that's fine. But the rubber style picking proponia could detain please. These things we need to watch it.
But see, you know, sir, you also declare an intention to contest election. But I know about question me boy.
I question that not say question that you need but I think that we are not panel kakra.
So what it means, they say so much in a Saturday dia. Na so much in ansana ni team ni release say declaration of intent na.
Say who EOCO statement no.
Because some who say EOCO.
The more bit that to EOCO for statement the buy say immigration for no memeda and on the ma EOCO for no kwasiada and na kwasiada no omo na ye omo se fi mu kwaye search bi asese and na etienu adwo no mbesa atwa so eti pe EOCO statement ne die enye no kwese ye che kwasiada nemu mu ye che na memeda and na there was work say kwasiada no issue statement no it is say 18 week it means but just that I say a back clear thing of what me say also be sure do am gas room yam say hours bia we declare no entina EOCO for eche no but per statement EOCO for the by narrative in there somebody said them and accurate because per statement no much the memory that but say people who are ya to
sami EOCO confirming dra
sa so much the memory
that yes
okay and I say EOCO for no statement no so mudik e by say or immigration for next year no it is a Gideon
I will say upon his arrival at the Kotoka so they say International Airport on Saturday night. Officers of the Ghana Immigration Service executed the stop order and handed Mr. Abuaji over to EOCO on Sunday morning. It's a 14 Saturday, immigration 14 Saturday, and I'm keeping him handing over to EOCO for Sunday morning. So Sana didn't say.
Now, it's a good statement now. Adia EOCO for a year no bubu kakra what statement na omo say omo ni Dennis omo investigate Dennis na Dennis yawe nyam esi le yakosibe twe so confirm
sesa me o
so confirm
omo ewo epo
yes ya no ewo
so what arrest them
and omo say omo nya new evidence bi enti no omo de stop order Echo or a airport or the exit. Now, I am one stop order. Na say stop order. Say to prevent you from leaving the jurisdiction of Ghana. It doesn't stop you from entering the Ghanaian jurisdiction. What I see, it's right now most of much in the airport Saturday. The stop order. I want to let a route because. Wako ena woba ayese woko ena yese stop order ntie eche no omo assembly omo saka statement na ya areho sema I think say indictment on EOCO ne say omo the stop order na ekoto so no unknown to EOCO
also omo the stop order to so but unknown to EOCO no say we say eyi omo home unknown to omo no na otu kwan ko ati omo the stop order so omo the stop order na ekoto so last week no na Dennis ekodada
na epramu ana mo kire no mo frɛ no kan ana mo so investigate no enti tabe no hu yes omo the stop order no koto so nti mo achi nipa na mo investigate no enti se mo stop order dia se sabe ni nyina ɛwɔ hɔ May June ni nyina ntwam
oh da bio ni nyina atwam ho ni pode o de nya hwe
na onya hu dia mo person
ba mo nya hu di mo sa fa do mo ba wa se omo de stop EOCO statement no omo de stop order na airport so no unknown to EOCO no na Dennis had
so they some de to so
they don't say omo de to so and omo de to so achi no o fa ho tu kwan a omo hu
da bi
now they go
to the arrest of Dennis Abuaji aka Miracles and Gerard appear respect of 55 million Ghana cedi investigation into the coordinating committee on decentralization 13th Accra 13 July 2026 and the Abosin. The Economic and Organized Crime Office wishes to inform the general public that it has arrested Mr. Dennis Edward Abuaji, formerly Executive Secretary of the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, in connection with ongoing investigation into alleged financial and procurement related irregularities at the Secretariat. The arrest follow extensive investigation commenced by EOCO after receiving a petition from the current Executive Secretary of Interministerial Committee requesting further investigation into the forensic audit conducted into the affairs of the Secretariat covering the period from 1st August 2022 to 2nd February 2025. The investigation, which commenced last year, following an initial forensic audit of the IMCOD and subsequent petition, concern the suspected misappropriation, misapplication, diversion, and theft of public funds amounting to about 55 million Ghana cedis. The former Executive Secretary of the IMEC, Mr. Dennis Abuaji, aka Miracles, the former accountant, Mr. Gerard Appiah, and others are under investigation for suspected offense, including 1. Conspiracy to steal and stealing, 2. Using public office for profit, 3. Causing financial loss to the state, 4. Dissipation of public funds, 5. Defrauding by false pretense, and 6. Money laundering, and 7. Other suspected offenses. Or to us say, EOCO noted that Gerard Appiah has voluntarily begun returning the loot of funds connected to the crime under investigation. These recoveries do not and by themselves conclude the investigative process, neither does it absolve any suspect of any crime. Following significant new findings last week relating to suspected fraud and theft involving Mr. Dennis Abuaje, who is already aware of the investigation and has already visited the office on it, EOCO initiated an operational plan to effect his arrest this week. As part of this process, Mr. Abuaje was placed on stop order. Was placed any sudden travel that could impede investigation this week. Unknown to the office, he had already departed the country.
What you say?
It was some the tone so. And so I'm the tone so no. I'm so wako.
No, call that. And some of the got so.
Now I'm the cotton so no. I don't money.
That is the immigration for no. When a member so, you can come to the Woko. I want a master will say. And it is a moment security apparatus and institution. Intelligence. Let's a more nice somebody at what will prevent you from leaving the country. What they got to so no. Man, who say Dennis was gone already? If you imagine say Dennis is the Pabonini and you got you partners say who was kind of well deal, that's why the day you exactly what you say.
Me as a statement from the abbey. Any sema a man for can a fast arrest we who no. No yama a man for who said we at stage. But because a man for can only free Sunday a union and I'm such a man for can say oh we stage. No, it's not comment
to NDC for
segment I'm issue here.
NDC for boys on the chance here say we stage now miracles because of say all coalition. In fact, specifically NDC youth organizer for Ireland, a friend and not sure I'm catching say. Then you are telling us how useless your government is. If an intelligence agency, he said EOCO, can connive and arrest somebody to pull a stunt, say you panic coalition,
an opposition person,
then you are telling us that the government is as useless as toilet
paper. And it is a very cheap paper.
Yes. And you know, Omunya is a monica because Okasa pay. Now, some who did the buy and crack. Now, who did the Monacha term say
because who did stop order? Now, I will say you panic when you Ghana.
And you know,
Gerard Appiah it's my accountant.
Yeah.
And me did you assemble Chibi and someone before catch me say Sikana Gerard Appiah was 38 years. It has nothing to do with the charges against Dennis. Gerard Appiah na samonko. And again is the uncle. Or last seven and Bunkum, and then is the Sunamifa. And so I then on my box was
Dennis has a witch hunting. Witch hunting, they say. The current CEO of the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, now or senior staff, and a miracles, control no miracles, so we interview I say, I also miracles in unity, say, Sikani will be to your mocha. And what miracles, a transfer unity. And the NDC by no more point or no, since you take payback time. And what that granted you no petition. And they are Kwakoma EOCO for forensic audit. EOCO for the petition echoe. And you know a payback time. And say Yakuya. Kuku Professor Kanate for Unity NIE na NDC abapower na NDC appoint Yayara Koku say see you na Yayara Koku Professor Kanate for akọ pension no one friend of pension about Unity
remember NPP for President Mahama ba why you ready nyina no aso me yiro ye adwuma
yes say mo leave
yes aso me yiro ye adwuma pa na party no ba power no mo say ba yo adwuma because you Mahama ni na ba yi a say asiamere say yes ye yiri oba yan fa nko e
okoba okro mu
ye yiri di koku ya yira we ene sa ICC hwani IMCC ni pay ba obi kura ka ho ayi kura we akoya no chichiri wona yi atufos in case japa mi nya say no mo issue and so mba nya no mo de position akesa mo mi and NPP for na mo yaduma yi mo di no munyire mo honya dwuma din na NPP mra na mo sa maye mo adwuma e bi kura na sa promote mu na mo so mo
I think say asemlo open was situated as a knee say a witch hunting by the car by the successor you be Dennis adie ewo
Interministerial
Coordinating Committee on Decentralization.
IMCOD. The obedi Dennis adie no. Say ono ahoya onum. Obi ya onum say Dennis a transfer no. It's hard then here. Why me so maye. Yenti da na be kasa asem bank of to mboase. And na babeto ijab abodi say EOCO for confirm say a chief Dennis Saturday no. Koko Dennis Saturday na wa declare intention.
Or declare Sunday.
Into mo ano mo ka say few hours after declaring no and na mo kwachi no na suspect say and na Dennis na waka kuku asem and na one why say no ye nti the action no. Say people na and ya chi Dennis imbuku na. So we go be piaba. O pe ba sa asem so be sa akoso aka. What so doesn't really make sense. Enti sa asem no dey I think say we say yes that was the motive. A personal vendetta by the successor no. All the papa friend is saying.
People be me
yeah mo usually do my anyway.
All right. Nti abusa ye dey no be see.
Babaku ye first one no. Bail condition na omodama Dennis no. Munyan sono kasa o. How na drusu. We lawyer pani. We cabinet minister, we education minister. Bear somewhere last month as I saying. What can the baby say? Bail conditions abodam bail conditions na omode man ko for no omunye very careful eto bia ne ye kan ya na ko for so mo de matumi mransa yami ado atumi de be ye adwuma matumi na ba ba so de yami adoma ye be yabi how the juice eto de say yamu sese no say adie na mo ye 50 million Ghana cedis bail condition.
500 billion OCs. 500 billion.
Two to be justified.
You can 50 million Ghana cedis. Oku.
Radio 95.9.
That's 50.
Next about what we did 50 million Ghana cedis. Brad, ya Dr. Bawumia did it boom. No, what we cabo mutu ha. Alolo mu nam ha eya obika ensokete eya ensokete brechampon Dr. brechampon and now qualify the near man property and okika anbunya baako okika bom
kan bebre bom no
Dr. brechampon no kwa no okika buy 6 properties say wakusi ekosia no eni di nkoko wa kire ye so kan ye say adan be 5 oh adan mako enum
kan bom
and okika bom wa ansana eso 50 million Ghana cedis no enough from enya japaje bia na ubetimi eja kosi awowa ewo court ano me say adaya kese ewo East Legon West Legon and cantonments laboni ni ade no make say at least half of them and qualify say would be court because omudi title what dan guta wasase no say title obi so a wontimi qualify emfa court say wudi kosia wo ama obi na ehun kransem 50 million in documentation obeye wo hun kra no be wie no kwaku na wonam about 500,000 Ghana cedis ya any cash Ubewie no na at least by 500,000 Ghana cedis because 8 years of evaluation. Last commission for also authentication of all your documents. Ubewie no sika ubepia ye ebe receipt no na 500,000 Ghana cedis. It has some eda hono enya senketoa. Momienhwe ne yenkan ye say sa bail conditions no ridiculous na ade a obi ka cut throat twamene yani ye ka chema wuntumi de ba ne ye ka na kofo bi abodafo bi na baabi eda chema wuntumi na obi oso woska na 50 million wonya ye nka se kofa 50 million Ghana cedis bra na fa beto ho na wa japade chema wuntumi me ma hu na yi ba ko a na asase keke of value na sase kwa na 30 million Ghana cedis but one kasa wuti ma wube dikeke japade a chema wuntumi ko wo bo so betimi abu 50 million no enso ono kasa di ma no wube moreover I say what they now they ban it should be within the jurisdiction of the court. It should be in Greater Accra. Adding media person Mahama baby wo po mine corner why enhwe han ema we ponye court bail condition. I just said the one say lawyer touch am eco court. Is some court na say to vary the bail condition. I say very
yes,
yo modie ya tete na ho
50 million
ya tete na bedru baby no West Ark krompo no original plan no krompo dis akofa ba e be ye condition
has to do with Dennis Miracles Aboaje na lenkrofo po nim say Miracles or a government appointee Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization ehona owa oye adwuma. Now, according to Andrea statement, any interviews a buy no. You say NDC are buying and somewhere April this year. Amo to nsa frɛ no say omra. E ma okoye ko ekoyi nsem bi se bia no. Omo wie no mo ka che no say onko. Ti man kan che no say omo de nato bibia so. Omo kan che no say onyu kwa so bitu kwan. Eti enami ene so tu kwan ti oba no ena airport omo so ma che no ede no akotwere kukum Andra after back and forth say ye deny no access to the lawyer the party penifo en na busuafo no afi finally no ma kwan em penifo ko hu. Then what happened, they say Yamano a bail condition of 50 million Ghana cedis. Now 50 million Ghana cedis no. Sika esu. You sign the treasuries account. Now treasuries the same you justified. Enti Andra time a bail condition buy no. Na adienso asa. Tine say Miracles edem. And intentional because EOCO say we do the 48-hour threshold. Into my Miracle dem na ye man bill ya. Na ese we bu e man so. But na dwumu no opese opanish no. Into betwen ade asa no osmama bill. Bail condition no untimi emiti. Because our bail condition no mo ka che ma untimi dia. Say woko na ekofa ejapade a esom 50 million edeba na wakofa nkrata na ba no say ekoye evaluation say ekoye sei ansa na yetimi agya atum se ampa obetimi ayusu sa documents no e di agibill enti anya yi a bail no dia obenya but obetimi asa adam be se na ansa amanu e di aka ho enti make say Miracles eguso ehye NI before a EOCO for Akache. Now the concern and nipa bebre ka ho asem no abuse of office or NDC aban from Amampani Mahama the ebasi the edi Ghana for. Now NPP na asem no ba say ya achimfo obedi omutelbo mu say anka ni wati house agro na ede yesi yi kwan so na kwan no anka odan a wo se kwan nipa yi na ni tene pa enti eba se ni ye ka e sha se chema untumi bere so no ye ka no na nkrofofo se e ya gro nkrofofo se movement for the omo boss na ya che omutu na mu ye didi kakra no ena eba na mi ye nua la yedogbe o ensentwoni o bia ni o pro NDC media person ono so no o ye jere in 7 days enti ebeduru obia so but ye o memu a ade bia ye bia no oberi fa no president say eye esa ye twa to amenchirima obeti se wuntumi oye the NPP Ashanti regional chairman open baby a obehunu uhia chairman wuntumi anopai osore na so uhia chairman wuntumi a me hunu na baby a chairman wuntumi obi a obehunu efi se chairman wuntumi kodi ni power buruchiri eba Ghana ha on tra buruchiri bosome ba kokora da bia Ghana ha na wotie eye na dwuma enti adenti na chairman wuntumi obeka sa woman bill a I saw the stringent and obnoxious bill and the man. Miracle Sabuaje, there be our TV so kasa gugwa awo penwa brebiano ubenyano. Onim se okasama Dr. Bawumia to opena ko Dr. Bawumia office ko ni fia ubenyano. Oni pe oso atun sa friend ba ko aba ema wa ka che ne se onko na hia na befre no. Enti nyansa egwom ene se e be chin rainbow styling yedina ko hye ne yama ne bo 50 billion ene sen eno nko ne yedio sebi nyansa ewomu no ene sen eye esabonia ye twa to ama enchirima because o ye say no o twa esabi ato look NPP ba yi minimum bail condition e ama I think 500,000 50,000 minimum under NPP gofedamenum any ayi atu force no nyina ne ade nyina omunya self recognizance bill enti kwa yes wani o se kolonzada ni kolonzada wa okay ma why then yes mabokro no $200 million sikami franco sisaglem yes medi ene edi aba sa o se okay yate enwimu na mo wo kolonzada de yedum so yes TV MP Stephen North enti ko ne hia wa ne afro ye mfa bibia nto so ne ma akọ enu treatment a NPP for edema NDC for but under NDC there ye chiwa 800 million 50 million 80 million 30 million 60 million obi akasa kekekra ne akire no 1 million 5 million 2 million wanya for 500,000 Ghana cedis 2 surety I say justify 3 sureties I say justify say sa. And what happens to the rule of law? Dia. And today me can say we had this near as a sewusu as a sewudi ayro as a sewuni as a tete as a tiate pwe. We go atenia ekoso. Se mu from Ghana Japade mo ba ban mu na anu ya A+ akabia kire se mo ndu kwa wi aban sa asesi kudan kwa so dada. And that mobile power. Some man 2 man penny Mahama and Romana Chafua. The next NPP government, no, Mohubay Mobo Ankasa. And the next NPP government, no, NPP Bebu behind Penny say NPP Benibi name patron for Mamu. And Fantibe G a betare. It mofa due process enya juma. One rule of law no enya juma. Na obia ehuntono. Sanya sadia dachi ebe efepa na ne ya ene na asofo nyina nkasa ahemfo nyina nkasa ensentwefo wuntumi multimedia film a obi nkasa biem see no evil hear no evil speak no evil enti yenim se so na musuo sam kasa ye beti wo mu senso ya dia damudi ahye afurumu nti ene yen kasaw obi anim enti nyema ekoso basa tantan a say kura no half ankoso akufo da ban mu ba ye bakufa do memudwem but ene de ne ekoso nyina no obi ase ohu ye obi ase onte ye na ye say etena o mamu a ebede na o man na timi akoso ama man na timi afa no tuma pefra.
This pressure may not be done and done well without at least talking about this third term agenda. We are aware that Mr. President himself says he's not interested in third term agenda. But we take this opportunity to also mention to Mr. President that, Mr. President, we are aware that many of your party members want to put the agenda. Please tell them one more time. Maybe when you said so in Singapore, they didn't hear you. Mr. President, you haven't spoken about your non-interest in third term in Ghana. Please tell your people that you are not interested at all. They shouldn't lead you into temptation. And by the way, it is not possible. Also, we have heard that certain people have filed certain processes at the court. We also have this to tell my Lord Bafoboni. We know that this job was handed to you on a silver platter. We know that you have your masters to please. But my Lord Bafoboni, in the end, when history is being written, it will be your name. And to our judges at the Supreme Court, Ghanaians are watching how you determine the matters that are coming before you. Will question your own integrity. When you came for vetting, you made certain commitment to the people of Ghana. Ghanaians heard you. So again, the mighty minority is watching you. We will not be silenced by threat of contempt. If by criticizing the judiciary, they will march us into Nsawam, we are ready to become prisoners of conscience. Thank you very much.
Yet say NDC for be a meetings various university campuses share a kwan kra omubetimi ama President Mahama ebe wini 2020 elections na wini ya ekobetimi akọ another term. Omo argument nyina ne say I constitution say ubetimi akọ 2 terms maximum. No and church say uko 2 terms no consecutively dia and the way no ubetimi akọ no baako uko baako na uko 4 years na wansa antwaso to say the person mama ekọ 4 years 2012 to 2016 ya we very from frana mu gwase kwan so no so wo hia na so bi be 8 years and we be no bi so be dia 30 years later 10 years later so wo sa bana wuni a na chese afina sa adna sa start for I just say we bet a sent na ko 8 terms, sorry 2 terms making it 8. Na say kaboma na just what the 12 years let's what the 3 terms. It is how ko na koso e course nyenne ye die that na no man fem of akwachi nyabo fa the currency ye di san ko mo we ya because ni am monitor wo mo says we need 2020 lessons na adia obo push no ebimu ka say the way nya numbers no parliament so e be dey it dey dum to say route ye be miensa say be use parliamentary and na say be use judiciary and just also dia as stipulated by the constitution say I just say referendum no ye no eno enti e course 2020 di nkomo na nya mencha de president na antimi awini 2020 elections and now we will 2024 elections. Only 24 elections really. We are just one by now come on a coso. Or baffle for the one asofu in pennyfold from one asofu. Estates of more Cassase, President Hamadi, Yensu, you so bad mother, Yan so personal my mother, it will deserve 10, would deserve 10, would deserve 10, no cat 10, Komoko. Hey, or be a one by first 3 months. Young will son of your brother will miss 1 man 30. no so na ye de na o sre ye ma ne kwatete kwatete no nwenwe wole ne nam hosa afei eti se obuso mo be ko parliament akofe ebi so mu se no parliament ebi sa authority no ntimi nye die ye sa tese afise parliament ntimi nye dia despite the fact we to tell majority no ntimi nye dia ene bi se no mo ko the judicial route na ye fa asem ko supreme court na supreme court eba na say favorable ma omodia na say the person ma betima akotete because we interpret constitution say so we betima the two terms are just a boom na emutidia na say na say yo me kan kranchi be we be na menyu me chiawo na me aduma chande say me frewo na be busa say senior na adiwi ya wodi court me de bentiase you because na bia na nche bia me no pay can crash of daily searchlight e the court supreme court say president Mahama ko do ni right say obo contest it sabo kai was so ni right so obo contest it because with the unexpired term of President Mills 6 months BUD and we said we can't one what say what did 2 terms it be say man could be if I know say we eligible to contest court supreme court eka na we should miss say comments by the man no e wo ho supreme court the 5 man na mani enye ho I thought it was very condescending but ubende abaso but achemi kan kwancha sa akofa supreme court assembly dia base so mo interpret no bibi e wo ho kofo bobo di wa eza ko kan kwanchi kofo bobo di na me alba chama frɛ busa sɛ asɛm ade ko supreme court na kasa no o person o sesei mentiase enti na wacheche bi mu enti ye no e wo holo ma e kofo di sankomo no pa okurum sɛ president Mahama e call the third term na emu no party from penifo and this from penifo bi sɛ third term no so pa attempt the die ene la obwa omompre e mane maso enti ye mi na e wo nkoma e koso na enwa ye wo ho before no and every mention NPP for so before issue guidelines say ye behwe na ya kwakoto regional executive elections na me aduma next month na ye beto no enti no guidelines e wo holo muti kakra I don't know Gideon minu se me de mawdia I'm sure se me de amount me de mawdia kakra na me free I'll call for it na wo de atoso na ye nyina ya hwe guidelines no isi won this omodi AB nominations no ene de ekeka ho nyina nti ye no so be de beba na ya hwe I think say I mean okay I also you ready me qualify for it is here na before that no enra ye wo ho enra avia ese ya kwa nwumre no krampo ake ba so me do so amawo uye we hold me bi sia we don't better to see EOCO for statement omode baye yes my said am said facha me afra me deba EOCO for statement omo issue ye enwe numeric kakra me de nya ne ntie se nwa de mesi aboaje yese EOCO for ache no me de hu for me tesa no na me ka say prank ye bia madam for NDC ni bi kwa na draw my attention and obo bi a wajini di se wode ato ne Facebook de me nkwohwe because share ampane no kure na busabusam oni me na aso no obo confirm che say yes ya Dennis in fact initial report no kwa no na ebimi say say we show this for some na Dennis aye bibi no dwane from Ghana mu akwa abuchiri na ye the stop all the biato so enti we do airport no ye chie no ena hwehwe so nipa bebre hwe yaso ba ye guarantee say na we from manole otu kwan no oba enti no kwasa be bi gogo mi di ho yi kwa be 30 minutes ago ni say EOCO form and state institution must stop order no yes it prevents you from traveling outside the Ghanaian jurisdiction. That is the stop order say two and 4 car na be majidisi and 4 car ada and 4 plane anase emphasis every Ghana enko outside of my Ghana. Now stop order there. It doesn't prevent you from entering the jurisdiction. Say omani so munu wa asemo no entino eni say yema ko otukanya ye say ma won tukwan free Ghana enko baby na mo it doesn't mean so omani no wa asemo say do ko ditogwa ye say the stop order to so free togwa ye na wo ma eyenye ne sa eti enra enko ko so a say de na de mi say ye enko fo twetwa trotro so no wa ye say no wa ye say de na ya ne say party for che say omo ko hwe Dennis baby obi a obi hu so or how even though omo nya ne ntie say EOCO for the friend no EOCO for the chair no immigration for the chair dey handing over afei omo ni baby wo ena no pa lawyers na ya mimi ko hobi lawyers na ya ko EOCO omo wura mu ko pa say no ye ma hu Dennis. In fact, we look at it, me for me say lawyers no and now the follow and Dennis and then Akasa. Me for me say because that time me feel robano. Not for me be for the new one, even though me ya catch say Dennis ewo holomo. It's a show so I don't know mutimichi will be. So you are the investigation said you mutimichi will be. I didn't go see Abraham can't say the bushafo ana party mpanyinfo say modise we ye che no ha no wo na asema ye hwe mu eni eye kwasiada ana remre da enti ade chia edwoada etele be court na ko bia tiada ene kwele ko so informant ne mabawa aba begu EOCO adenya ye nimba bia Dennis wo ya tese wo EOCO ti begusa and rightly so sa na say ye no say you party for a chain and a EOCO for issue statement. Mubacho statement no fa gido fato so mame na me momo disbit na keka kaka se ewa enti no me nkan ni nyina was it then for immediate release arrest of Dennis Abuaji AK Miracles and Gerald appear in respect of 55 million investigations into the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization IMCCOD. Okay, afi yenke kan kakra se what's it what's it EOCO knows that no except medical 37 my minister was it the Economic and Organized Crime Office wishes to inform the general public that it has arrested Mr. Dennis Edward Abuaji, former of so in connection with ongoing investigations into alleged financial and procurement related irregularities at the secretariat. The arrest follows extensive investigations commenced by EOCO after receiving a petition from the current executive secretary of IMCOD requesting further investigation into a forensic audit conducted into the affairs of the secretariat covering the period from 1st August 2022 to 2nd February 2025. Yanko. Okay. Was it the investigation which commenced last year following an initial forensic audit of IMCOD and the subsequent petition concerned the suspected misappropriation, misapplication, diversion and theft of public funds announcing to about 55 million Ghana cedis. The former executive secretary of IMCOD, Dennis Abuaji, the former accountant of IMCOD, Mr. Gerald Appiah, and others are the investigation for suspected offences, including the conspiracy to steal and stealing, using public office for profit, causing financial loss to the state, dissipation of public funds, defrauding by false pretense, money laundering. Hey, me say, unya samuda. It's money laundering na aka home. You got that page no. You got that page no. Gideon na yeshe. 7. Okay. Was say other suspected offences. EOCO knows that Gerald Appiah has voluntarily begun refunding or returning the loot, while in quote the loot of funds connected to the crimes at the investigation. These recoveries do not end by themselves. It concludes the investigative process. Neither does it absolve any suspect of any crime. Following significant new findings last week related to suspected fraud and theft involving Mr. Dennis Abuaji, who is already aware of the investigation and has already visited the office on it, EOCO initiated an operational plan to effect his arrest this week. As part of this process, Mr. Abuaji was placed on the stop order a week ago to prevent any sudden travel that could impede the investigation this week. Unknown to the office, he had already departed the country. Oh, an indictment Krama EOCO. Upon his arrival at the Kotoka International Airport, hey, I promote Kotoka International Airport. Na Kotoka umu say you did change Kotoka every so. He say Accra International Airport, but I watch Kotoka International Airport. On Saturday night, officers of the Ghana Immigration Service executed the stop order and handed Mr. Abuaji over to EOCO on Sunday morning. He subsequently accompanied investigators on a search on Sunday, which is expected to continue today. EOCO further confirms that Mr. Abuaji will be granted bail in accordance and on motor to as well. But you me ye fish. Now, Awiewie a painty a worrying picture. Mose wayadie mo di asema to so mose mafre no wani mu di insawoso mo ni mu di nkuta ho investigation na mo yina no wo cooperate mo amusi last week ya na munya new bibi. It is a last week when the new bibi some ni di ho nkoma ada na mo nto mo san fere say enrich ye from now be ya asemi wi ano ene asemfo bi aba ediname ado ma kina bra na waka acha mu se matu kwan na meba ye sasa ngetu atwa dada man first stop order ankoto so dada no man first stop order ankoto so say ye mani ntu kwan na afre musimo nya de fofo ma ko this stop order ekwakoto so unknown to you na Dennis a free Ghana. Eti mu show secretary pese ko dwane a eko dwane ba cho men ko break ni say twen kakra secretary pese ko dwane a eko dwane na wo ba no mum wo ba Ghana no and na stop order what does it mean? To stop you from leaving the jurisdiction. Stop order doesn't mean say you are being stopped from entering the jurisdiction. He was coming to the jurisdiction. Eti adena muko implement stop order no. So stopping him from what? Stop. I feel what you man ikomu bi mana. Manya de egu abane ni mase. Now, we read the adena kwacha oma keka nsemi bia bom ba ko mo se accountant bia se dey and was starting air refund. Enchechemu ye nyane say accountant na sem na mo ka no you go for mo ka no e different from Dennis asem amone ne wo but o maka bum ma wa anya careful na ebiri wani so enti accountant na sem no se mo bedi no kra ne Ghana fo bedi no kra mo nchechemu say accountant na sem no eniye na Dennis asem so eniye I'm told say enye the same case but mo se butu futu ogu ni penalty mo de afra emwa adeba akwa me say read the statement masanya ya meka biem say asemba so obi enya abotre EOCO for aka say Dennis omochi ne memene da emwa ifa besi ne yenya we no even though some of us are no plan on yet say nyam consider the chi no die but officially no mo da ba bonte say Dennis was arrested on Saturday not on Sunday. Eti also no mommy fan to ho ye bedi san komoni nyina eti EOCO for mo chire the Saturday no money immigration for chire mo see immigration for the chire the Saturday and mo hand over ma mo kwesiada eti me da no da hen immigration for to be keep the pass the men there honestly be nim but about the stop order akọ say immigration so be popular monche onche na say ko mo chire say ko mo de bremo minim se immigration for chile no omode ko ma bie na so no omode ko to ma de chi no mo omode bremo so dia e de to jimara but the fact as put up by EOCO say Dennis was arrested on Saturday not Sunday I will say Casam Babuchi will be and I can more information about Bontia and can begin to be any ho and can be I cleared. I will say I will when the mind say, oh, I think we that the Bakodasa near Chino and I say this. It did Abanono. Every from penny for you so a boy, a kuyuku, and you may ya a be a holomo, and I make us a meme through her banady. Namin whoop and the mubia was say the near chat Dennis Abuajiso, Ewu Yuku office. Necessary yet now, Memudia. Next, Dr. Bawumia president. No, cause also the same, you know, a year Jumadia, and a Ghana be de Ghana, a bed.
You only say, party no. It was going to be a routine penny for.
Okay.
So we are man yourself now. You now co in year. Penny for one so
okay.
When the issues of injunction is surrounded, your conference, you know, and then penny for whom is no, and then another injunctions and then your money now we money now we bed money dear oh dear, and how be breed. Why? Okay. German and co. Okay. Baby, it's not. And I do say yo. And it's here penny for. Now, party you so the only thing you do is to write to the elections, constituency elections committee. So you may throw to them. And I may notify the chairman of the constituency elections committee, which is a national rep.
Okay.
Come down from Poyambo, they want to come down.
Okay.
And so I had a conversation. Me asked me apart. So I had a conversation with him and I was like, oh, no, I come and say. So we just had to let it go. Now, party, you know, the way I am among Kofubi, near Bressa, they want to hold positions in the party. You know. We are just praying, say. Delegate to Amupono Obama will be able to be near Jumano. You got on your positions, you young of war.
Okay.
Resourceful and minds, ready some of best serve. They want to serve the people at the constituency level and serve the party at general. If you know, I don't know why are they also taking it very serious. Yes, my one people in 7 years. Sana Union was and the workers, my was 7 years. Sana yes when people for customer when people in some yeah MPP in some now say we hear more it you know say we hear more and they are winning say we to win you know and compare on so person we here
yeah
just because if we are more level be a who and say oh power over the electoral college it will be so bulldoze way into it now koye
yeah
if we are party na be man to sni o baby corona on person so so dey na say most of the executives, you know, they put into consideration. Now say or person or two as well. Why you be? You already the first one. Udi you huni and no can near bear. You have position na feel me ejuma. Jatu on and you bet me I am ye. Na party into me fan into my pen from. Now person who said change near over the ejuma. Because a way sir party na wood in abroad. Yeah, and that's what we keep telling them. But we can't because every one of compile police station executive album ni electoral area coordinating committee omo album no combine no ntino of course a don album ni munchi obeko maybe a delegates no very sharp no o de obro mo meje but o wi o meto abama o mo mechi na ya adwuma no maybe a assume so maintain a dimisi munchi o no na me wo him allegiance to no e do so no e no na obo say your competent people o mechi na ya adwuma no so ni akoto ni zombi we be to your near town ama omo and any team no na team na we need your afobe we no yeah the communication officer come will be or no nya communicator yeah the secretary come will be at church on
yeah we organize files
yeah the organizer come will be only experience or only organizational
skills be
or lucky organizational skill yeah the youth organizer come will be with the who do need to remember ni ma o to me command mebunu and only the problem back wa I was as a party no ye sanyo mani for near the woman organizer come will be ono mama mpeni bi o
was sale obi akwa yaka ni shino born na na ayi me usagi do de ayi bi beto so fly bi beto fatos bi ba me hwa ade na I was here issue statement there. Issue statement then message mu kakra say effective today I am suspending all activities of my campaign devoting my platform to securing the freedom of Dennis Miracles Abuaje God na Sabediako na the issue statement na ubetimi every so and the quality here ni say wo yonko da no da so aba say the say me campaign so aba say the Matiesim na makobi o makwa NPP delegate bi wono ma ebi a me 10 minutes and then back best spend me 10 minutes but first 6 minutes in there we busa say dey ekoso e we yoku they did this accept that cause say no ye dey I feel that big change na ubusa me so a is incumbent on me to explain enti ade na me explain this energy no ne yentwe abrebetimi abeboa aso solidarity enti no say nyame ya adom ne say bia omuga se fa so mo de na court nyame adom e kina krempa yim say afi court process no a begin which is a proper way and they started there we can go about a but you did say oyokoda enoda e kwanso wom nyame adom 19 September and na sa a contest na eba so but fa you no to so mame NPP in the regulations na eba ye no fedo to so na ye hwa de say regional elections na eba so no regulations na party na de buy no entichi no ne ye hwe ne nka ma obi a wo hwe no ti asese di esitie okay what the to so na ma hwe okay mati enye yisa it's in order Gideon fatos ba me why me dey send ma say won san kan ya so won san kan ma me hwe na me starting read was say no but I think say won san kan na me starting in read was say no na say the bia yen twen emetefo entwen ye enchesa de me patriotic party there no Miss May try say maybe and was it okay into any was it July 12 update on regional executive elections was it pursuant to Article 9 of the party constitution as amended. The regional executive elections shall be conducted at a regional delegates conference. The national secretariat hereby announces an update of the regional executive elections as follows. Okay, Abba. Okay. Opening and closing of nominations. Opening and closing of nominations for regional July 15th to July 17th, 2026. Opening and closing 2 days. Okay. Vetting July 20th to July 23rd, 2026. So, who person appeal bizoswa July 24th to July 26th, 2026. Notice of poll July 27th to July 30th. I was say notice of poll there. I said the bobo ho meboa. Yeah. I said the board notice board so be able say one man ye kwato so aban omunie. Yeah. Then elections August 15th to August 16th, 2026 as amended by the National Steering Committee. And was a regional elections committee is directed to submit the following list to the National Secretary by Monday, July 13th. That which is today. 1 representative appointed by the Regional Executive Council, 1 rep of the party regional parliamentary caucus, chairman of the Regional Council of Elders, chairman of the Regional Council of Patrons.
The lawyers now one actual to the Attorney General. I'm just saying, here a client or call for medical review and check up and for medical reasons or out of the jurisdiction. But I'm only full support to the attorney. Since Sembiana Mupeso Yano, Obe Yano, one man of the right to fair hearing.